It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's now time for Real Estate Today. It happens every Wednesday morning at this time. It's courtesy of our sponsors. Our kind sponsors are Howard Johnson Realty Limited. They are located at unit number 15 in the Ligony Post Mall in capital city Kingston. Today's topic is moving up, climbing the property ladder. And before we welcome our guests, let me just tell you, by way of a preamble, moving up the property ladder can be a daunting yet exciting journey. You may have outgrown your current home. Perhaps you have started a family and are in need of additional space maybe, or you simply just want a new location. Whether you're buying a second or third home, reaching the next rung on the property ladder isn't always an easy step, as there are many things to consider. You heard? Well, in this segment on Real Estate Today, we're joined by Howard Johnson Jr., and Howard is the CEO of Howard Johnson Realty Limited. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning to you, Richard B.
How are you today, sir?
Boy, I'm hanging in there and giving thanks,
If I sound excited, it's because I'm really excited about this topic that we've carved out this morning.
Well, move right on up.
Moving up and climbing the property ladder. Another rung, I suspect. We're also going to be joined by Patricia Henry, who I think we have on the telephone at this time. Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning, Richie. Thank you for having me.
So and nice.
Patricia is so excited as well.
All right. Yeah, she's feeling it like we are. Now, Patricia is a chartered accountant and business strategist. And I also note, Patricia, that you are a real estate investor.
Yes.
So I have my notepad ready, okay?
Right.
I'm taking notes. I'm going to start with Patricia, if you don't mind, Howard.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, man. Tell us a little bit about your transition from say, owning your first home in St. Catherine to your most recent home in Kingston and St. Andrew, Patricia.
Well, so just to give some perspective, I am from St. Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 20, I already had my 2 children and was working as a heart trainee in the parish. That is in St. Thomas.
Yes.
I landed a job as a senior accounting clerk with an associated company in Kingston and was commuting to and from St. Thomas. Now, if I leave St. Thomas to Kingston, it will take me maybe an hour. If you're leaving Portmore to Kingston, to the city, maybe it will take you an hour and 15 minutes. So it is, St. Thomas is relatively close, as you would know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the commute was really taking a toll on me, as you can imagine. And by then, I was studying for my accountancy exam.
Okay.
Owning a car at the time was a big profile. But there was no used car market, and the new ones were clearly out of my reach. So from time to time, my group office would change their fleet, and employees would bid for a vehicle back in those days. My manager at the time heard, I guess through the grapevine, that I was seeking a car and approached me about buying a house in Greater Portmore instead.
Mm-hmm.
Richard B., I don't know if you're old enough to remember when the persons were sleeping at the arena to deposit on a Portmore house.
Yes, I am.
Well, I was working with a group of companies, and I gathered that companies in the group were allotted few units. I was one of the employees who benefited because I had my down payment and I was qualified for the mortgage. So at 24, a single mother of 2, I owned a house, 2 bedrooms at Greater Portmore. That was really a big deal back then.
Mm-hmm.
So shortly after acquiring the property, though, I moved to Kingston with children and enrolled them at Jesuit Paul Primary here, in Kingston.
Yes.
I figured it was a lot for them to adjust to city life, and more so commuting from Portmore at the time, and so I didn't want to shock them,
Mm-hmm.
I rented a house in Portmore and then rented a house in Kingston that was 3 times the mortgage. Let me repeat that. The house that I rented in Kingston was 3 times the mortgage. Mm-hmm. It was a sacrifice I wanted to make as a single mother for the well-being of my
your children
moving into Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I bought a modest car I was, moving into middle management by then, and I was fast becoming a qualified accountant. I became a chartered accountant and was promoted to senior management.
Mm-hmm.
It meant earning more money, but I was also saving more money. In fact, I lived on my middle management salary for a year or so. I did not change my car. I did not change my lifestyle. And I just scream off the differential and save it.
Oh, fantastic.
Right. It was now time for me to sell my Portmore house. So we never lived there. But that was the deposit for a house in Long Mountain. I took this is the catch. I took a 30-year mortgage at a certain interest rate at the time. Few years after that, when interest rates were falling, I approached the mortgager and requested a revision of the interest rate, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It meant a reduction in my monthly payment, but instead I asked them to reduce the number of years. So I reduced the term of the loan. Nothing is cast in stone. If you don't ask,
you won't get. But what you're outlining is a fascinating story to all of us this morning. And I want to bring Howard in at this point. Howard, in your experience, what are some of the benefits of moving up the property ladder?
Well, Richard, normally when moving from one property to the other, obviously it may have a value increase. And you're taking equity from one property and putting it into another. And usually, similar to Patricia's story, you will build up that equity over a period of time and will be able to utilize that for life, right? And when I say for life, for all the things that life will throw at you. So it gives you that freedom. It also gives you an opportunity, if you do not have to sell, to earn from that initial property that you would have purchased. So it may have been that Portmore house. You would probably move on to another property, and because of your qualifications now or your salary advances or salary increases, buy a bigger home, but not necessarily having to sell the first property. So you're moving up the chain, retaining that property, earning from that, using that to supplement, and also preparing for retirement. So there are many benefits that can be derived depending on how you move from one step of the ladder to the other. Mm-hmm. But as you know, every step, every round goes higher and higher. More responsibilities.
Yes.
But
the higher the monkey climbs.
If you have an expanding family, it is always good to, think ahead and make preparation for your growing family as well.
Patricia, I want to bring you back in the picture at this point. Some people find the real estate market and the industry itself kind of daunting. You obviously don't. Any tips you can share with us? Do you think that your training in finance also gave you an advantage in moving forward in the industry?
I would say it's a combination of many things. But I just want to finish up a point that I was making because this is interesting. So we refinancing property, and I did that a few times. And so at some point in time, I also sold Long Mountain. I want to make it clear that Long Mountain is a very nice community. I have friends living there. But I thought at the time that the rate of growth in the property was slowing down a little, and a newer property would really afford me a bigger equity. And so I sold it, and now I'm in the Millsboro area.
Ah.
Now, going back to the question that you asked,
mm-hmm.
I would say that it's not only because I'm a chartered accountant, but also discipline. I spoke about a big salary increase when I became a senior management and lived on my
middle management salary. Yeah, I remember you said that.
I'm very deliberate about that because I want Reader Land to understand that it can be done. So I believe that I am disciplined. I'm disciplined. You just have to know where you are in the life cycle, moving at your own pace. I think having my children early in life forced me to be responsible and focused.
Mm-hmm.
We have to also save a percentage of what we earn. If you can't save, it means that you're living above your means or your income needs to be improved. Now, there are many ways that you can improve your income. You can study, you can start online business. I mean, information is at our fingertips. And a good place to start is social media. You can tap into your passion. You can sell plants, photography. You can learn to bake. A lot of people on social media know about Auntie Donna and Dance of the Carly. They're selling pudding, and it is selling.
Yes.
You know, you can start a delivery services business. So these are different ways that you can try to improve your income stream. And you don't have to be daunted, and you don't have to be a figurehead.
I want to thank you for those very, very valuable tips this morning, Patricia. Howard, one more for you before we get on to the tip of the day. What would you say has been the trend now in home ownership? Are people going more for buying land and building, or building a house?
They are buying homes and renovating, upgrading, etc. Because as you can appreciate, especially within the corporate era, the land availability is sparse. So now they're looking for land that has a house that needs fixing up in varying areas. And even out of town, some persons, they want good land space, but they would like a structure. So getting that start with a building is what we're seeing as trending.
Thank you for that, Howard. I'm going to share a tip of the day as I've been asked to do this at this time. It is natural to seek reassurance when making a big financial decision. If you need a second opinion, select one or two people. You must remain true to your list of wants and needs, so the final decision is based on criteria you have identified as important. That is our tip of the day. And yes, the script bossy. But we're going to move on now to the deal on the edge. I hand it to you, Howard.
Yes, sir. Perfect example of someone in Greater Portmore renting their space. 1,100 square foot of rental property in Caribbean Estate, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, single family home. We're asking $90,000 per month for this property, and please call Sybil Harvey at 876-382-9930. That's Sybil Harvey, 382-9930. 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, Caribbean Estate.
Thank you for that. Good luck with it, Sybil. Patricia, I want you to give me one sentence before you go in terms of advice to persons who are wanting to enter the real estate market.
I would say it can be done. It takes discipline. Forget about the bling.
Yes.
For a minute and just focus. Just get your information at hand. Do your research. And I was deliberate when I started talking about working as a hard training, because I want the listeners to understand at any stage of your life, you have to go after your investment to improve your life.
Got to run, Patricia. Thank you so much. Howie, it's been great having you as well. Have yourselves a good day, and we'll catch you again next Wednesday.